Yo, what's good? It's Timmy Lee Glean, and I'm coming at you with the first single father thought that I had in a long time. And I'm gonna be honest, I feel like some of the stuff that I was posting was kind of offensive to some people, and it made me be kind of a coward and not say anything instead of standing up for what's right. And I feel like it's important to stand up for what's right. And as I take this new direction in my YouTube channel, I want to bring a couple series into the mix. And like I said, I want to release these videos every Monday, and whatever short form videos or shorter form videos or shorts even, I'm going to be doing all that. I'm not thinking too much about the watch times, and I'm just want to create content. This is my main channel, so I just want to just be a blessing however I can, to bring practical tips and bring true stories, and just bring topics that I feel like many people are speaking about, maybe in this way even. And me being a single father, I feel like it's important for me to bring up these topics. So I'm gonna leave a link in the description of my ministry page. I've spoken about the spirit of Jezebel, and I'm going to continue along the lines of speaking on the spirit of Jezebel, because it's something that's running rampant in the church. It's something that's running rampant in this society. And after seeing, Kamala Harris now running for president, and seeing the rise of this radical feminist spirit, and for the sake of culture, we don't stand firm or bold anymore on solid principles on what it means to be a man, and also what it means to be a woman. But me as a single father, I see things, and as you notice from the title of this video, your daughters are princesses. And I feel like, just even, we could just go to Kamala Harris again, and just her last rally in Atlanta, and we got Megan Thee Stallion. You gotta think, like, this is the example that she is showcasing for our young black girls. I just look at the Cardi B's and the Sexy Reds, and the Nicki Minaj's, there's just all these female hip-hop artists, and we can even go back to Lil Kim and Foxy Brown. Like, they were terrible too. We don't say nothing about them because they 90s. No, they were terrible too, and they were a terrible example, and they were the ones that birthed this generation to be who they are today. And if you want to blame anybody, we got to go back to the 90s. We got to go back to the Freaknik days, because there's a lot of Freaknik women out there. There's a lot of, and they had children back then. There was no men out there. There was no fathers out there, because Joe Biden wrote a crime bill that y'all voted for, but Joe Biden wrote a crime bill that locked up y'all men. And we out here voting for these people, and we out here pushing these agendas even further and further. And we got little girls that are growing up. Little girls that are growing up listening to this stuff. They're watching these Tyler Perry movies. They're watching, music videos that are derogatory, which are very disrespectful to females in nature. A lot of these mothers listen to the rap artists and music artists that are very disrespectful and misogynistic, but will accuse a man that actually cares about them as a misogynist. I feel like that's unfair and that's wrong. My bad, I had to close the door real quick, but I don't know, it messes me up, as a father of two girls, and I'm raising my daughters to be a certain way, in a certain manner, to cover themselves up, to dress modestly, to teach them that nobody should be seeing their body but their husband. And a lot of people might even think that's radical. Like, why are you telling your daughters that? Like, first of all, you got your daughters listening to WAP. So for me to teach my daughters at a young age that they should have a husband before they have children, I don't think that that's really necessarily a bad thing. To teach my daughters to honor the Most High with their bodies and not to put themselves out there in harlotry. It's a Bible scripture, I forgot. And basically, like, do not prostitute your daughters. I'm gonna have it right there. Do not prostitute your daughters. And I feel like this is what we're doing now. And little girls aren't taught to be princesses anymore. They're taught to be like their moms. So when you got some women that are very irresponsible with their bodies, sleeping around, having dudes in and out the house, just imagine what your sons are looking at, but just these girls, they're seeing this is their example, and they got this sexy red on, and my booty hole brown and all that other stuff, and we see these examples of these women, and like I said, little girls are watching this. What do you think they're going to grow up? And you're listening to these rappers and listening to certain music, certain frequencies that are going through your ears, that are going through these little girls' ears. What are they going to grow up into, and what kind of man will they go for? What kind of women will they really be? Will they be somebody that can, be a wife? Because it's funny, because a lot of these women they're older now, and they'll question or say there ain't no good men. And we don't realize the way that you raise your daughters, you're raising them to grow up to be the next group of women to be passed around. Quite frankly, if you're not teaching your daughter to be a princess, she would never know what it's like to be a queen. No, we ain't gonna classify harlots and queens together. I feel like that's wrong. And I feel like this culture that pushes, they say body positivity and sexual liberation, and for the sake of sexual liberation and for the freedom of choice to do whatever you want with your body, do it. But don't be mad when a real man don't want you. And don't be mad when the men that you want don't really want you. They just lust after you. That's what they do. They lust after you. And you're raising your daughters to be the next ones to be lusted after. Do you think about these things? I'm just saying, as a single parent, and I'm looking at you as a single parent, and it's predominantly single mothers. I know this is gonna make a lot of mothers mad. This is gonna make a lot of people mad. My mom was a good mom. The simp sons, the son husbands, the sons that come to the rescue for their mama, the weak, docile boys that are just gonna get passed on to the next woman that's gonna take care of him because he's not being raised by a man to know how to take care. So you're raising up the new generation of girls that's gonna raise up they children as single mothers. I mean, I'm 33 years old now. I've seen 4 generations of this same cycle, which is why I've been dealing with the Jezebel spirit lately. Ultimately, the ones that are affected the most are the children. The ones that are hurt the most are the children, and they're going to grow up and raise up the same product that you raised, but they're going to take it to another level. Now, you're either going to raise up children to be worse than you or better than you. And I decided I want to raise mine to be better than me. I know I had mine out of wedlock. I'm accountable for that. I'm not going to blame the other parent. I'm not going to say that are there things that are the other parent's fault? Yes, but there are things that are my fault as well. It ain't just what I did, it's what I allowed, as a man. And I had a dad in my life. I had my dad growing up. He was a great man, but there were some things that were missing that I feel like I could teach my son now. Some things that I feel like I could teach my daughters. And I got to teach my daughters that they're princesses. There's too many girls out here that feel like they're watching their moms put on these eyelashes and put on their hair and put on their butts and put on their revealing outfits, put on their heels, and just put on all this fake stuff, and then hop on social media, don't even say nothing. They're just looking at themselves, and just it's been so self-indulgent, and they're listening to demon music, devil music, listening to wickedness. And then the daughters are watching this, so this is their example. There's women that are in the church now, single moms in the church, and they're presenting themselves a certain way with men of God, in front of men of God, and they have no reverence for brothers in the faith, and even for other sisters in the faith. They're elders, they're pastors and leaders, and they're in these churches like this, and these little girls see this. This is why these little girls usually grow up, and because there's not a standard of holiness in the church, these little girls aren't walking around Christ-like. They're walking around harlot-like. You got little 3-4-year-old girls twerking. There was a saying, and I saw I forgot. It said like thottlers. Like they're calling little girls that are following after their moms thottlers. This is a thing. So what I'm doing with my daughters is foreign. Do y'all like y'all dresses? Then don't stop liking them. Because it's usually the peer pressure of other girls that usually be in school. It's the peer pressure of just the culture and society. So when you got half naked little girls, little shorts, like little tiny shorts and little halter top shirts and stuff like that, and these are little girls, and they going out into that world. And I mentioned this in a couple of my other single father thoughts. You need to go back to them. You need to go back and really listen to all of them honestly. But you got little girls going out there, and you got perverts, and you got wicked men and men that dealing with the spirit of lust that are looking at these little girls. And single moms that would have boyfriends. Don't even vet them out. They'll just have boyfriends, and then you just let them, because it's men that these women are taking care of. Men that these women are taking care of, they at the house with their children. Why do you think molestation in this nation right now is through the roof compared to other times? Because there's no men, there's no fathers, there's no biological fathers in the home with their biological children. It's a lot of this going on. Little girls are getting touched. Little girls are getting, it's weird stuff happening with these little girls. Because you got them looking a certain way, so that incites something in a man that's full of lust, and he's looking at these little girls, and it happens all the time. It's people it ain't just a black community thing. It's people in the family, but I feel like it's a black community thing to be quiet about it. It be somebody in the family that everybody knows, touching the nieces and touching and it's sick, and it's like everybody would sweep it under the rug and nobody would say nothing about the family molester, about the family member that's touching the little girls in the family. This is wickedness, and you got your daughters out there looking like grown-ups. Now, I'm not saying that because of a way that somebody is dressing is the main reason, but I feel like that can be the main catalyst to entice somebody that has the spirit of lust, that is a pedophile, that is a predator, a predatorial in nature. And we got our little girls going out here all crazy and wondering why all this stuff is happening. Why ain't nobody watching their children? Why ain't nobody with their children, spending time with their children? How do we have so much? How do these little girls and little boys have so much time to just? Because we don't have two-parent homes anymore. Because quite frankly, we're not raising up the product to have a two-parent home. We're raising up the product to just get pregnant. They getting pregnant, they having sex, but they're not being wives because they're not taught to love themselves. They're not taught to love their bodies. They're not taught to cover themselves up and wait till they have a husband You know, like I said with my daughters, wear your dresses. You like your dresses? Wear them for the rest of your life. I got to show them like some Israelite women, some Muslim women and they swagging out. Look at got the dunks on with the hijabs and they don't. Like, I'm not legalistic with my daughters where they're gonna have to wear like hijabs and hair wraps and all this other stuff and things like that. You know, but I do want to walk in the customs of our ancestors, and it's very much of Israelite culture to dress in modesty, to cover yourself up, to wear long garments and dresses and, you know, long skirts. And they could swag out with the skirts, with t-shirts and jean jackets and hoodies in the fall, and, you know, wearing stockings and leggings, but putting dresses over them. Even if they're wearing, you know, jeans, you know, it's not tight fitted jeans. And if it's more of a tight form fitted jean or pants, that they're wearing a longer shirt or they're wearing a dress over it. And, you know, and they're starting to get into dressing themselves now and starting to figure out, like I got some stuff in a closet for them, but you can swag out and dress nice and be modest. I got to teach my daughters that young. You know, even one of my daughters, like, you know, I had to get on her and she got upset with me, but she understood after that even when we're in the house, you're not going to wear these tight fitted legging pants, because they got leggings. You're not going to wear these tight fitted legging pants and then wear a shirt that the moment that you lift up your arms, that your backside is exposed and certain shapes of you are exposed. And I know this is a little girl, but still I had to teach her this now, because teaching her this now, she's going to grow up and understand as her body develops more, as she grows up to become more of a woman and she has the womanly figure and shape more, that she's going to be able to understand what it's like to be modest as a 5, 6, 7-year-old. So when she becomes a teenager and develops more, that she really understands to respect her body and cover herself. As they get older, I get to put them on a more game, that I get to show them more examples of women that are around, or girls around their age, and to see the type of attention that they garner. They're going to see how men talk to certain girls, and they're going to see how men treat other girls. And like I said, a man that has the spirit of lust, he has the spirit of lust, regardless. But I believe that when you put your daughters out there in a certain manner, it entices men. You as a woman know what you're doing when you put on certain outfits. You know the attention that you're grabbing. You know the attention that you know it. You know when you get inside, get in that room, you put whatever you put on, you see your cleavage out. You're looking at yourself. You're fixing your cleavage. You're fixing your breasts. When you put on those pants, you're looking at your backside. You're looking at your butt. You see it. You see the leggings that before y'all go to the gym, you put the leggings on. You put the shirt on you see yourself and what you look like. Some women don't wear bras sometimes. You know what you're doing. You know exactly what you're doing. How much more are you conditioning your daughters to do that? My daughters, you want to wear, you like barrettes and knockers, that's what y'all gonna be wearing. They're gonna get to a point where they're not wearing them anymore. You know, but what I want to do, I want to have them wear their natural hair. I'm not saying nothing wrong with anybody wearing weaves or anything like that, but my daughters have beautiful natural hair. Wear your hair out. You know, rock out with some hair wraps. You know, get some hair wraps for them, and man, have my daughters looking like princesses with their dresses and their hair wraps, and you know, especially us as Israelites. And I got a series that I want to come out with literally after this series. It's an Israelite series where I want to speak on some of the issues on our community, but in a lot of cases you're going to hear me speak about Israelite stuff, because predominantly we are the single parents, more than any other group of people in this country, in this nation, and in many parts, I would say, in this world, that we lead basically this world in single parenthood. And me being a single parent, but a single father, an anomaly, someone that is in a rare position where a single parent that also homeschools and educates my children myself. Yet I still have to work and do what I need to, and I'm still doing my best to find time. But that's why I'm just going full-fledged content creator mode, because you know, the Most High blessed me to be in this position, and I'm thankful. And you know, I want to use these videos to encourage single parents that, you know, it's okay, you know, when you make mistakes, you mess up. But I hope that something that you heard in this video can convict you as a single parent. If you see it, if you watch this, that you cannot send your daughters out there half naked and expect for them to grow up and be a woman that can attract a husband, when, okay, you can attract a husband, a lustful one, or you can attract a good man, but he's weak. And now you're mad because you have a man that you want to lead you, but every avenue that he tries to lead, you shut it down. A lot of these men most likely don't like how they women dress, but they feel too intimidated to say anything because they already seen the witchcraft and the reaction of women whenever a man stands firm and bold on his standards. It's okay to have standards as a man, but if you're being raised by a single mother that dresses a certain way, that is a certain way, you see your sisters a certain way, you see your grandma was a certain way, you see that your aunties and cousins are a certain way, you see that everybody in your family is a certain way, because these generational curses are passed down, and it's this unhusbanded spirit, which is something that I really want to talk about. It's the spirit of not having a husband, and y'all pushing that on y'all daughters. You know, a prince looks for a princess. A prince isn't looking for a harlot. That's the issue. That we, as men, first and foremost, have to be in our daughters' lives. That will make all the difference. That's the game changer. Usually a lot of issues stem from not having a father in the life, and that's man or woman, but there's something called daddy issues, and those daddy issues come from the lack of a father, and also the lack of a nurturing mother that's raising her children right. Because no, I've seen examples of great mothers that are raising up great women, and even in that there's deeper realms of that, because there's culture, you know, so there's peers, there's surroundings that can just ruin your children as well. So it ain't just how the parent is raising the children, is the environments that the children are in. And usually school is one of the worst places that you can send your children, especially little girls, where they feel peer pressure to. You got little girls putting on fake eyelashes, you got little girls wearing booty pop pants, you got little girls stuffing their shirts with tissue and stuff. You got little girls that are going out there trying to enhance themselves to attract these little boys that just gonna want them for sex. I remember being a teenager. I remember being 10. I was 10 and these little kids are talking about, I was 10 and these little kids was talking about having sex. 10, 11 kids having sex. 12, 13 years old, girls in the bathroom giving head. This is a real thing. So when I say what I'm saying, man, your little girls are princesses. You gotta treat them as such. And I know that I'm being straightforward, and a lot of people don't want to be straight up. But the issue is we not straight up enough. But these little girls are doing stuff. They in these health classes. I remember being 12 years old. They gave us condoms at 12. In health class, they gave us condoms. They're not promoting, hey, wait till you're married. No, they're saying, hey, if you do what you do, you gotta wrap it up. It's like, no, that's the wrong mindset. No, don't do nothing. Be a virgin. You will be a blessed woman. You will be a blessed girl. But you know, in thought culture, women will encourage the virgin to have sex because they want them to be at their level. They don't want the little girls now to, or you see somebody 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, a virgin. That's why college, man, that's the breeding ground for harlotry at the highest level. You ever see husbands find out what their wives did in college? These husbands don't feel the same. I just heard a story about a man, and he found some tapes of his woman getting gangbanged and dudes doing all types of stuff, disrespecting her body, and just doing the deed, and just men just all over her, just as far as the shooting all over her basically, and just all that. And then that woman was gonna take that to the grave. She was never gonna tell her husband. And I'm telling you that you're raising your little girls to be this person. And a lot of people say your past don't matter. I'm telling you, yes, it do matter. Especially if you ain't changed, but it matters. Now, if you change, you gave your life to Christ, you're born again and things like that, even that, women from the world will come into the faith and they'll still dress the same, they'll still look the same, they'll even still kind of act the same, when Christ calls us to die to ourselves daily. And then you're still raising up daughters in worldliness, or even worldly daughters are being raised up in the church. There's women that are in these churches that are still getting pregnant. They're getting pregnant. Little girls are watching this. There's no standard of holiness, and there's no standard of righteousness. So on all boards, whether you're in the world or whether you're in the church, man, it's all grounds for the enemy to truly thrive. And the way that the enemy can truly thrive in our children is to have a lack of fathers. The way to have a lack of fathers is to raise your daughters to not have a husband. You gotta raise your daughters to be princesses. You gotta allow them to be innocent. You gotta allow them to be children. It's up to you as the parent, especially if you're a single parent, especially if you're a mother, to pay attention to what your daughters are watching, what they're listening to. Why are you giving an 8-year-old a cell phone? It's just like little girls are watching pornography. Little girls got access to toys that grown-ups have. You gotta be real about this stuff, because these little girls are learning fast, and then they bring in their impurity to other little girls, which are turning them out and turning these little girls into lesbians, or they're bringing it out into other younger boys. Your daughters are princesses, and it's sad that we don't treat them as such. I will hope that something that I said on this video, because I'm going to get way more real than I was in the last session of the single father thoughts, because I'm not making no more single father thoughts after these. I got like 5 or 6 more of these. I'm not making no more after this, because I don't plan on being a single father or single parent forever. Now, y'all willing, I died before, I'm not saying I will, but y'all forbid. But tomorrow isn't promised, so I'm not going to worry too much about having a wife. I'm going to continue to be in purpose, but I don't plan on being a single father forever. And I feel like that's the wrong outlook. Even if you're a single parent, you should teach your children to not want to be like you. Don't ever try to give this self-worship, this mom worship that we see, where it's just Happy Mother's Day and Happy Father's Day to yourself. It's like, no. Raise your daughters that they should have a husband. But low-key, a lot of these moms do not want their daughters to even be wives. They want their daughters to be like them. And you as a woman right now know that you had a toxic mom that raised you up to be terrible. And you didn't fully follow her because you knew that she was wrong. You knew that she was withholding you from seeing your father. You knew that she was living a lifestyle that maybe you didn't want. There's some mothers that pushes their daughters into prostitution. And this is a real thing. So when I'm speaking about these things, I know that people get offended. I know for the sake of the womanhood that women will sweep what women do to other women under the rug just to defend women against men. That's sick. And that's the Jezebel spirit at its highest form, where you would dismiss wickedness and evil that women do to other women, and that these women, these mothers, are doing to their daughters and their sons. You would dismiss that, and you will bypass all of that for the sake of defending a woman against a man that really cares about women, that cares about these girls. I care, and this is why I have to bring these things up. As a single parent, it's important for you to protect your daughters, and I feel like the best way to protect your daughters is to allow them to be modest, is allow them to cover themselves up. Don't let them be fast. Don't let them to dress like you or do it. And honestly, I feel like you need to transform or change if you want to raise your daughters up to be better than you. Or if not, they gonna eventually be worse than you. But the Most High, I believe, protects some of these little girls, and they go the opposite direction than their moms, no matter what direction they going in. And I pray that this is for whoever it's meant to be for. But this needs to be spoken. This needs to be said. Your daughters are princesses. Don't treat them as anything less than a princess. And trust and believe you can raise your daughters up to be wives. That you can raise them up to be mothers that love their children, that care for their children, that are there for their children, not dropping their children off every weekend so they can go to the club and twerk on some no good dude that barely got any money that she had to buy the shop for, just to take him home and do stuff with him just to make him a boyfriend literally within weeks. And then now you got this man around your daughters. What do you think gonna happen? Why do you think stuff like this happens? Predatorial men looking for women that haven't been raised by a father, that don't have male figures in their lives. Predatorial men are looking for women like this. And predatorial men see little girls, especially how they are now, these little girls are overdeveloped. And the mom ain't there, and little girls there, and the little girls are fast too. So a lot of these little girls be throwing themselves at these men. I'm telling you, this is sick. Your daughters are princesses. Please, I'm pleading with you right now. The Most High will judge you on how you raise your daughters. But hey, regardless, I said what I said. If you don't like it, you can take it to the bank. You can go pray to the Most High about it. Take it with the Most High. If you don't believe in the Most High, you might as well just get off my channel. And also, once again, I love you, and this is why I'm saying this to you. And just know that you will be cast in the lake of fire if you continue down this path of raising your daughters and raising your sons in the ways that you do, in wickedness, when your daughters are princesses and your sons are princes. We got to raise our children up like royalty, the royalty that they are. And one day they'll be kings and queens if you raise them up to be. Or else we're going to have harlots and jesters and clowns and jokers. That's what we're going to have. But ultimately, I hope that this message has blessed you. And may the Most High bless you in Yahusha name. Woo-hoo.